Logging in is the first task you'll perform every time you want to use the Reporting Entity portal. In this lesson, you'll learn how to log on to the Reporting Entity portal, change a temporary password, and establish a permanent one, and acknowledge web messages from TRS. To log into the Reporting Entity portal, you must use your web browser to navigate to the login screen. Once there, you log in by entering your user ID and password, and then clicking the Login button. For your initial login, you'll use the user ID and temporary password that were created for you and emailed to you by TRS. The system will ask you to change your password and add answers to 3 security questions that you select from a list. From that point forward, you will log in with the password you created until it expires. Passwords expire every 6 weeks. A few days before the expiration date, you'll receive reminders to change it. If you try to log in with an expired password, you'll be required to change it. Let's log in now. When you log in, you are brought directly to the home page for your reporting entity, with a few exceptions that we'll discuss in a moment. Please note that this screen may have some slight differences to the screen in the certification environment or when the reporting entity portal goes live. One of the first things you should do upon reaching this screen for the first time is to look in the context panel and find the name of your reporting entity's web administrator. Be sure to write down this person's name, phone number, and email address, and keep these details where you can easily find them in case you have problems with your account later. As previously mentioned, there are 3 situations when logging in does not take you directly to the home page. The first is when you enter an incorrect user ID or password. The second is when you log in with a temporary password. And the third is when there are messages from TRS that you must read and acknowledge. Let's look at each of these situations in more detail. The first exception happens if you enter an incorrect user ID or password. Instead of being taken to the home page, the login screen reloads to display an error message telling you that you've entered invalid credentials. You can continue trying to log in, but be careful. If you enter an incorrect password 3 times in a row, your account will be locked, and you won't be able to use the portal until your account is unlocked by your organization's web administrator. If you have forgotten your password but haven't locked yourself out, you can submit a request to have the system reset it for you. The system will send you a temporary password. You do this by clicking the Forgot Password link just above the Login button. The system asks you to verify your identity by entering your user ID, TRS-RE number, name, and email address. Once you do this, click Next. The system asks you to enter the answer to one of the 3 security questions you set up previously when you logged into your new account for the first time. If you enter an incorrect answer, the screen reloads to display another of your security questions. If you answer 3 questions incorrectly, your account is locked and must be unlocked by your web administrator or a TRS representative. If you answer the question correctly, the Forgot Password confirmation screen appears telling you a temporary password has been emailed to you. Check your email. After you log in with this password, you'll have to change it to a permanent one. The second exception happens when you log into the portal using a temporary password. This is the case when you log into the system for the first time. It can also happen after your account has been unlocked or your password has been reset. On the login screen, your task is the same. Enter your user ID and password, and then click Login. Because temporary passwords are made up of long strings of random characters that are hard to remember, you may find it easiest to copy it from the email and paste it into the password field. If you do this, however, be careful not to copy any spaces after the password, or the login attempt will fail. When logging in with a temporary password, you are immediately prompted to create a new permanent password. Your new password must be from 8 to 20 characters long, cannot be the same as any of your last 12 passwords, and must contain one character of each of the following types: letter, number, and special character. To review the rules you need to follow for creating a password, click the Password Rules link. If this is the first time logging into your user account, you're next asked to create a security profile. You must pick 3 security questions and provide the answers to them. If you forget your password and attempt to reset it, you'll be prompted to answer one of these questions. After selecting and answering the security questions, click Save. If this is your first time logging in with your permanent password after having your portal account activated, you'll now see the annual Recertification Agreement screen. This screen asks you to confirm your need for your portal web account. Once you respond to it by checking the boxes to indicate your agreement with each statement, and then clicking I agree, you'll be asked to recertify your need for the account around this date every year. When you've read and agreed to all of the statements, the I agree button is enabled. Click it to finish your initial login process. The third thing that might occur when you log in is that you'll see messages that TRS wants you to read and acknowledge before using the portal to perform any work. This screen displays new messages that TRS wants you to read and acknowledge, and any previously available messages that you've not already acknowledged. Messages are divided into different sections of the screen depending on the importance assigned to them by TRS, either critical, high, medium, or low. A section appears only if there is a message of that importance level. So, for example, if there are no high importance messages that you have yet to acknowledge, the high section will not appear. After reading each of the messages on the screen, click the I acknowledge button to confirm that you have read and understand them. When you do, your reporting entity's homepage appears and you are free to proceed with your work. If you don't want to acknowledge reading or understanding a message, you can click I do not acknowledge. However, if you do this, you will be logged out of the system and asked to acknowledge the messages again the next time you log in.